it feels so right.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Loft Line podcast with myself, Tom, and Jamie Langrish and Tom Roscoe. Sorry we're a bit late, but I'm trying to do this on my laptop tonight so I can answer all the comments. So anyway, it's just a bit of a technical problem again. So we'll get started. So welcome, lads. Hope everyone's okay.
Yeah, good to you.
Yeah, good mate. Good mate.
Yeah, all good. So we're going to do it a bit different today. So we're going to talk about 15 minutes. Then I'm going to answer any comments and read some comments out, and then we'll talk again. You know what I mean? So Alan Williams has just come on. Evening, lads, and we'll jump straight into a question here, lads. We've got a question off Tony Racing, and he's saying, "Evening, lads. Any tips on portion size for the young birds, and what time of day to feed them? When I let them out, they're just picking away at the grass and trapping after 5 minutes." So, anyone want to answer that?
Go on, Tom.
What?
So what he's doing, Tom, he's letting his babies out. They're not flying very far, and they're picking about on the grass, and then they're trapping in after about 5 minutes.
These are babies, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, mine are doing the same. I won't worry about that at the minute, like. Mine are all over roofs and they don't really fly too much at minute. When it comes time to make them fly, most simple I could say is 1.25 ounces per day per pigeon, split into 2 halves. But in the morning when they come in, and when they come in the evening, to be simple, like.
Right, yeah. Tony, I hope that answers your questions, Tony. So, good evening, Rhino, and good evening, Tony Peters. So what we was going to talk about this week, lads, we was going to go on about the show last week. I thought it was a really good show, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it went well.
And what's happened? One of the lads who was watching knows the bloke in charge at the RPRA now. What's he called, Tom? I forgot his name.
Chris Sutton, is it?
Chris Sutton, yeah. So he sent Chris an email about coming on the show, and Chris said he's on annual leave at the minute. So I'm going to message him next week and see if we can get Chris Sutton on the show, maybe in the next week or two. Do you know what I mean?
And did he say whether it was showing any willing to come on, Bob, or not?
No, I don't know. I just saw the email where they'd asked him, and he said, "Oh, I'm on annual leave at the minute." So obviously, may have been on holiday or something. You know what I mean? So
okay.
So I'll give it a couple of. I'll give it a couple of more days, and then I've got Chris Sutton's email address now, so I'll be able to obviously email over to Chris Sutton. Do you know what I mean? And we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, lads, 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
2 weeks away to the start of the season.
Breaky bum time.
Yeah, the excitement's building, isn't it, boys? You know what I mean? So, where are you up to, Jamie, with yours? So, if we'll all say where we're up to at the minute. So, where are you up to with yours, Jay?
Just flying them out twice a day and praying they do a good hour, so twice a day. And they're doing about 1 hour, 1 hour 20. Some days they'll do 1 hour 40. So I don't pull them down. I just let them fly as much as they want, and then when they've had enough, I get them in. So do you feed them just once a day, Jay, or twice? No, in the morning I'll let them out, and I've got about 30 hens, so I'll give them about 4 handfuls between them. And then at night, they get a full feed till they eat barley. Because if they're hungry, they're not going to fly around home. Now, if I was training them, then I could cut them down a bit, but I don't train, so I need them to fly around home. And if they're hungry, they won't fly.
Yeah. And where are you up to with yours, Tom?
Yeah, they're doing really well. Made a decision this year to start everything a lot earlier, because I always found for years either we haven't been ready, or when it is time to be ready to start training and getting them going, you always tend to find the last 2 weeks, which is forecast now, before you start racing, is terrible. So we decided to start earlier, a lot earlier. Ours have been flying hard for maybe 3 or 4 weeks now, and we've had a good few 10 milers, good few 20 milers, a good few 30 milers. they're getting to the point now where the ends will do 2 hours a day flying, solid like we outlanded, and the cocks will do 2 hours. The ends go out from 10 till 12, and the cocks go out from 12 till 2. And they're putting, like, say, we stop them from going over 2 hours. They would fly more if we let them, like. But obviously, I think that's down to the feeding. Like, I've been messing around with the feeding, like Jamie. I was just trying to get them, to go. It's like I agree with what Jamie said. If pigeons are hungry, won't fly, and it's hard to get that line in it where they're not getting fat, and you know what I mean. But obviously, with them doing 2 hours a day plus a 30-mile toss, they're not fat, like they're ready. They're probably ready to go. I'd probably send tomorrow if they wanted to, like. So what the weather does in the next 2 weeks won't really bother me because ours are ready, like.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same as you, Tom. I think you know what I mean. Mine have been going out morning and night, but I wintered them well this year because I was here, so mine was going out regular all through the winter. You know what I mean. Weather permitting, they was out. Both of the cocks and the ends. So mine was relatively fit when I started training them, and I've been at 10 mile, and then I've been at 20 mile, and now I'm at 33 mile.
Yeah. So
I'm all right with them, but the problem I'm getting in, I'm just not got my feeding right. Sometimes they're going out and they're not, they're wanting to come back in. They're a bit hungry because this year I've had them on light feed. I've got them on diet 200, diet 2000, and depurative.
So I'll give them a bit before you let them out, Bobby.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was just going to say. Are you giving them a bit before you let them out?
Not at the minute because they're flying well, but after a few races, when they've worked hard, I find that they start getting really hungry. So I might feed my hens for about half an hour before I let them out, give them 3 or 4 handfuls.
Yeah.
Let them rip. And then while the hens are flying, I'll go and give the cocks 3 or 4 handfuls. Yeah. And then when they're ready to go out, it just takes the edge off them.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to start doing this week. So just let me read some of these comments, lads. So we've got Tony Peters is saying, all right, fella. And Tony Peters is asking, will you be putting your results up each week, lads? It depends.
Oh, don't worry about that. They'll be coming.
Tony, it depends, doesn't it, dearie me? And Brooklyn Baines has come on and he's saying, hey up, lads, love watching. Keep up the good work. Ian Platt, evening all. And Terry Luscombe, good evening, lads. Good luck for the forthcoming season. And Brooklyn Baines is saying, is there such thing as winter form? What do you think, Jay?
No. I think if you manage them well, if you manage them well for the 3 weeks before the first race and knock them back a bit before the race and then bring them into form again.
Yeah, I think like anything, I think form comes with feeding, doesn't it, Jamie? And you know, if you know what you're doing with the feed, you can have them ticking over without hitting any form or outline.
Years ago when I first started, John Redfern at Doncaster used to tell us to starve them for 24 hours, 2 weeks before first race. So they totally miss a day, just shut the doors on them. Say it was a Friday. You wouldn't even look at them, wouldn't even go in and clean them out. They'd be knocking the door down the day after, but it just cleans them out and they're ready to go.
Yeah. So, Jim O'Hare Lofts, our season starts on the 18th, but the weather's been really poor and forecast for the next week. Looks like 60 mile an hour winds. Yeah, it's the same down here, Jim, innit, lads? It's been terrible, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's been absolutely terrible.
We managed to get some decent training, Bob, didn't we? When that good weather was on a couple of weeks ago, we used it. We used that weather.
That's what's done your head in, innit? You know what I mean? Yeah. You've come down one morning, it's lovely sunshine, and it's happy days, innit? And then you've got training, start getting going and all that, and the next thing, bosh, this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is, you know what? This is the first year since April. I mean, I know I went to Thailand, but I'm normally away for 4 and 5 months out of the winter, aren't I? But this year I'm staying here, and it's done me barn it in. To be fair, do you know what I mean? So Tony Peters, win, lose or draw, get them results up, lads. Well, it looks like we're going to have to now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Darren Lynch has come on and said evening, lads, and then Hurley 04. early 04, struggling to get his. He said he's struggling to get mine in when I'm not fed them. Never mind feeding before I let them out. They've been a right pain in the ass to get in.
I think it's just down to serious routine. When I let my birds out, they're locked out.
Yeah, yeah.
And as soon as I can walk up the garden with that yellow bucket, open that flap, and I don't even need to shout them, they're in.
Yeah.
I think that starts from babies as well, doesn't it, Jamie? Like you say, all the way through to old. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're saying if folks starts messing us about, I'll just lock it out, Jamie. Leave it out.
Yeah.
Well, it won't get fed. It'll come in day after.
No, I'll just lock it out.
To be fair, what I'm doing, I'm letting them out, then locking them out, and then putting the flags up.
Yeah.
You know, and then after an hour, I'm taking the flags down, and then whatever they're doing after. You know what I mean? It's you know, but they are getting going, and it's just, you know, Tom will tell you, my the where I was going a lot wrong in the past was I was overfeeding, wasn't I, Tom?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was overfeeding in this
counts
year,
for a lot, actually. Yeah. You won't believe when you start feeding lighter, Bob. But you think it's like a fuel, like a car. The more fuel you put in, the more they get out. But it doesn't really work like that.
No.
Sometimes, you know, you back off the food and they fly better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee Davis, lads, is put. Do you think this fuel crisis will affect racing this season, and with the feds? And do you think the race program will change or will have to change?
No, I think what I've heard from our feds are that if the fuel carries on as it is, they're going to put so many pence on per basket to cover it. They're going to go up like 50 pence a basket. So I think that's what I'm looking at. I think yours will do the same, won't they, Jamie? I'd imagine.
Well, I'm not heard out, but it's
makes sense.
I forgot what I'm going to say now, but yeah, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So lads, we've had a request here from Byron Morris. So he's saying, "Evening, lads. Can you do us a massive favour and do what we did last week and say hello to Albie Morris? He's only 4 and he looks forward to it." So,
mate.
Hello, Albie. How are you doing, son?
I'm
glad you're still watching the show. And we're all looking forward to you when you start racing pigeons yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ian John Platt's put, what John Redfern told you, I was told by the same late Derek Steele, but put milk in the drinker.
Milk?
Right.
Yeah, I've never had that.
No.
I'll be going buying some full fat milk tomorrow, though.
Yeah. hey, and Darren Lynch is hit the nail on the head here. He's put Bobby's the dark horse, lads. But so I mean, we're talking about this fuel crisis and all that, but you know, I don't really get involved in watching the news and all that because it's just bullshit in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, no matter about your politics and all that, but you know, at the end of the day, our government are taking 60 pence off us for each litre.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nobody else in Europe doing it, just them.
Yeah.
Just them.
I was talking, my fuel company, I have a fuel card for business, and they rang me the other day discussing stuff, and I was saying how, you know, bloody expensive, and they were saying their customers down south, they're paying £2.60 a litre.
Yeah.
Unreal.
You know what I mean? It's mental, isn't it? But lads, listen, this is for just let me tell you, everybody who's joining in tonight, thank you very much. We really, really do appreciate it. Keep hitting that like button and keep hitting that subscribe button because this is what we want it for. We want this discussion. But lads, it gets back to what we're talking about. We should all be going together, shouldn't we?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. I think some people might have to. Yeah, I think a lot of people get mixed up when they, you know, I was talking to someone the other day actually about local combine racing and that round here. And what happens is a lot of meetings, you say, I think we should go on the wagon with them. And automatically they go, oh, no, we're not going up with them. But they don't listen properly. I propose that we all went together on a wagon and have your own libs. You can have a liberation, separate liberation, but you still, it's less fuel, isn't it? You know, you're both paying towards the fuel. You don't have to go up together. But people, as soon as you mention that, oh, no, we're not doing that.
I mean, it's mental, isn't it? You know, like, you know, we're trying to get this right, aren't we? We're trying to make it better for everybody. And you know this fuel price hike now when it happens, it should make everybody think, shouldn't it?
You think so?
You know, everybody should go, right, hang on a minute, what can we do? And then when the fuel prices drop down again, it's going to be cheaper to race your pigeons, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't work it out. I mean, you know, what is it? Is it the fact that everybody wants these little wins against small birdage? I mean, let's be honest about it. Is that what everybody's after?
I wouldn't say everybody, but there's a lot of that, Bob. Yeah, I think it's two things. I think, like you say, people getting the wins in the small clubs or associations, and I think also a lot of people don't like change, do they? It's a change in it, and in this game, this is the worst game for trying to change anything. It's you know, it's a big no, isn't it?
Yeah,
not going forward, like.
I mean, like we was talking about last week, we was talking about, you know, the way we can change things and stuff like that, but nobody's willing to try it, are they?
No.
No, you've got to. I think you've got to go with it. I think when you look at a lot of, let's call it hobbies or sports or whatever, everything, Bob, you've got to go with them times, otherwise you get left behind, mate. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people don't want it, and I don't like a lot of technology. Let's be right. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of all this AI and all this sort of stuff, but certain stuff, and you just got to adapt, haven't you?
Yeah. That's the problem, innit? You know what I mean? This is at the ideal time now to go, right, fuel's going to go up. So, lads, I mean, even if you said it like this, let's for now, before it gets out of hand and the prices go up too much, let's try it.
Well, there's a lot that, like Ian was saying last week, there was certain stuff that got tried in COVID last year and it worked, but then it didn't get took up, did it?
Yeah.
Going back to the old ways, like
that's the problem, innit? You know what I mean? They're not having that change, are they? Just let us answer some comments, mate. We've got Trevor Cunliffe here saying, "Evening, gents. So, what you lads feeding this year on the run up to race day?
Beans.
Many roads lead to Rome, as we know. So, go on, Tom. Let's you answer that, Tom.
What are we talking about? What I'm feeding up to the first race?
Yeah.
One scoop of barley, 1 scoop of depurative, and 1 scoop of a really weak racing mix. 1/3. That's probably call it 1/3, wouldn't you? 1/3 barley, 1/3 depurative, 1/3. I think it's Springbok I've got, or it's a bit like a Jerry Plus sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's racing mix.
I caught when we went to Rising Bridge, wasn't it? The Springbok.
Yeah. So it's very light. Like I say, I might not be feeding that after about 5 or 6 weeks into racing, but up to racing and probably the first few races, that's all I'll be getting.
Yeah. You know, I want to ask you the question, lads. You know, if I absolutely beat the bollocks off you at this racing this year, will you still do the podcast with me, or will I be sat on my own on a Sunday night?
You won't even send to our Fed.
To what?
You won't be sending to our Fed.
Yeah, but you know why? Because I'm not a mong. you don't think for one minute I'm in the West Coast Fed here, right? So round here now, near me, I've got Chris Mellor, Kenny Cardwell, I've got Paul Fisher, Brian Fisher, and I've got Mick Barlow, and I've got all them round here, right? That's going to give me a chance of getting up there. And so I'm going to send with your Fed through Crawley and Preston and all that. Do you think I'm absolutely mental? That
club's made a massive mistake joining our Fed.
What, Stormine and Pilling?
Yeah.
Mate, what you listen.
I might be swallowing my words in 2 weeks, but I think they've made a big mistake.
Well, why would you do that? What they've done?
It's just, I know what it's like because I flew against Rochdale and Bolton, and there's the nearest member to me, I'm 9 miles away, and I think I topped it once, and I was flying against a top flyer in my club at the time, and I split him a good few weeks, but I couldn't beat him. I think I beat him once, but and that's the same as what them lads are going to be doing now.
What, in Star Mine and Pilling racing?
Yeah.
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 So Bob, now you've just said, Bob, that you're in that area, you're surrounded by all the flyers, so that means you're in a hotbed.
Yeah.
We'll see how we get on against you.
Yeah, well, listen, lads, I'm trying my best. Listen.
Yeah,
I am trying my best, and let me tell you, you've got to go when you're doing anything. You've got to go into it like this, right? When the lads are fighting, good competition can only make you better.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Bob. Yeah.
That's in everything. That's it. That's in life.
Yeah.
Good competition can only make you better, unless you're not bothered about winning. If you're not bothered about winning, well, you're in the wrong sport. You know what I mean?
I think if you get a genuine system of someone that wins and you stick to it and you know you've done everything you can and the birds haven't performed, I would be getting rid of them birds and I would be getting a fresh setting, or even off the man that's give you the system that his birds perform to it. That's what I'd be doing if I failed.
Let me tell you.
And you mean that in a fair fed, don't you, Bob? Jamie, you mean that obviously not like Bobby just talking when you're 15 miles away. You mean if you're not winning in your area against the people around you?
Yeah. If I was a new starter and I joined Bobby's fed, and the likes of Fisher and Mellor and I don't know half of them, if I was a minute or 2 minutes behind them, I would put it down to me, not the birds. If I was 10 minutes behind them, I'd be thinking it's the pigeons.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what I've done. So last year, when I came back from Saudi, I went to your dad and bought a full round of young'uns off your dad.
Yeah.
Right? I trained them.
Yeah.
I trained them. They had 30 odd tosses, them young'uns last year.
Yeah.
And 2 races. And in the 2 races, they came very, very well. But then the last trip I had to do, me and Sharon went to California. I had to go back to California to see Rampage. So I did that. So I stopped him. So this year, I've got that full round of young'uns off your dad.
Yeah.
Now, they're obviously yearling racers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 sections of widowed cocks and a section of widowed hens. That's what I've got. So that's me. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then
now, what have you got? How many races have you got that you're racing there, Bobby? Now about 30.
I've got 22 cocks and 22 hens.
Yeah. Now for me, if I had 40 off of one person, I'd be looking for 4 good ones out of that 40.
Yeah. Well, listen, they're off your dad.
Well, you might get one then.
So be careful what you're saying. Otherwise, he might come out of your house chasing you with a big baseball bat or a shovel or some spade. But then, so what I did this year, then I've not bred off them. I've not bred off them. And what I've done, I've been out this year, and I've bought more pigeons off good fanciers. I got 8 off Rhino Ricketts. I got 6 off you, Jamie, didn't I?
Yeah.
I got 8 off Tom, and I got 10 off Ray Lunt and Gary Wall. Them Jan Den Hartogs. So I've bought young'uns again. So I've not, because without any disrespect to your dad or anybody, I don't know how good them pigeons are.
No, that's fair enough. At the end of this season, though, you've got a couple that's been really good. You'll be taking some young'uns off them next year.
Yeah. So that's what I've said. That's what I've done. I've even gone to the trouble now. I've just got my results back from the vet. I sent off to the Racing Pigeon Diagnostic Lab in Ireland, not the one here, the Racing Pigeon here, the one in Ireland.
Yeah.
A bloke called Donald, and I sent all my droppings off for my young birds. I sent swabs from inside the mouth, not in the crop, inside the mouth.
Yeah.
And swabs off the boxes and off the perches. And it's come back. Everything's clear. There's just a little bit of respiratory. That's all there is. I had a little bit of eye yeast and a little bit of respiratory, but he said all the salmonellas, everything's clear.
Yeah,
that's good.
Because when I put the different people, the pigeons together, I know that you can get yourself in trouble doing that. So
Did you
what I've
send
done-
young guns or just the old birds, Bobby? Or both?
No, I sent the young uns first
And
because
did they come back same?
no, the young uns came back first. That's what I'm talking to you about.
All right.
And then because that's what I was more worried about, mixing them.
Yeah.
So I got the results for the young birds yesterday, and the day I got the results for the young birds, the day before I'd sent all the stuff for the old birds.
Right.
So
Well, that's a good result for young guns though, from 5 different lofts, isn't it?
yeah,
very good.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you know what I mean? He said that to me. He went, what you can see is I'm looking after them correctly and everything's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to just start off on a strong footing by healthy pigeons. That's what I've done. So now the old bird lofts, the racing loft's gone off now with the cocks and hens. Now they've gone off because, oh sorry, and I got young uns off Peter Martin as well. Sorry about that, Peter. So the old birds has gone off because they was all one. They've all been together. There's nothing been introduced into them. Do you know what I mean? So they've gone off second. Do you know what I mean? So I'll get the results in 2 weeks from them. So I'll get the results.
If they come back with something wrong with them, will you send them to the first race?
But I'm not going to say anything till the vet tells me.
Yeah.
But they flying great. They've been cankered,
training well,
everything,
and they're training well. So there can't be much wrong with them, can
and they're training well, and they're coming well, and the shit's perfect. There's plenty of down in the boxes. They've all cleaned off underneath like they should be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I've started off fresh on a new footing, and I've not got any stock pigeons. I got 2 pairs of stock pigeons off Peter Martin. But if you remember where I was 2 years ago, listen to this. I had a full race team, 60 young uns, and 2 stock lofts.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And it became, for me, it wasn't a hobby.
No, it was a job. It
was just hard work. And I was training the boxers. It was ridiculous. But now I've retired, I've almost retired from boxing training, just still doing a little bit. But I've got more time with the birds. I've got all the time in the world with the birds.
Yeah.
And you've got half the amount or quarter the amount.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do everything right. Up to even to the fact of, Jay, that them pigeons out of that race team that are no good as racers, I'm not getting rid of them. I'm putting them in the stock loft and I'm using them as feeders for the yearlings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can take the rate off your best racers.
Yeah. So
and they don't have to rear anything.
Because I know them pigeons.
Yeah.
Them pigeons what are not good for me for racers. I'll never breed off them, but I'll just use
the clear and the healthy.
Yeah, I know that what they like, what illnesses they've had, what they've been treated for, and all that. So I'm just going to use them for feeders. So I mean, I'm not. So next year, I'll have them that are no good will just become feeders, and the year after they'll be able to bring the yearling eggs up for my own babies.
Yeah.
But you see, that's a problem. I'm going to be honest with you. I read an article from Belgium. In Belgium, and it said about bringing stock pigeons into your loft. And what this bloke said, he said the problem is that instead of years ago, someone had gone by a cock and an hen great racers, or a cock off somebody a great racer. But what people are doing now, they're going and buying rounds of young birds off champions and not racing them, just putting them straight in the stock loft. They're buying paper pigeons. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to go down that road anymore. I'm not going down that road anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The money, I've been the pigeons I got last year, I got looked after off your dad. The pigeons I've got this year, I got looked at off you, Tom, Ray Lunn and Gary Wall, and Rhino Ricketts also, and Peter Martin. So honest people. I've bought pigeons off honest people. That's it. So it's up to me now. It's up to me now to put into this if I can put into these pigeons a quarter of what I put into boxing, I'm there.
Yeah.
You'll be
I
second.
mean, listen, as a boxing coach, I was involved in 28 world title fights. So it tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I've had that big rant about myself. Let me see what. Hang on. I'm just learning this laptop, lad. Don't get carried
No
away.
worries.
So Tony Peters, laughing faces. So Mike P. Hi, gents. National racing is the only way now when all the lads are racing together, right? Club and feds are for small-minded fanciers who want to win in small radius. Great podcast, Bobby and team. So what do you think about that? National racing's the way forward.
Well, that's why I don't train. And my birds will generally come to about the 4th club race, fed race. And I'll start knocking about on door. I might get lucky sooner, but my birds, by the time they get to the course and going into nationals, they should be absolutely fit as fiddles.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I want to win the club every week, but I haven't got the time and I don't want to be up and down that motorway.
But that's, you see, that's the thing. That's your prerogative, innit?
Yeah.
You don't want to go up and down the motorway. That's fine. I love going up and down that motorway.
Yeah.
I like it. Honestly.
But you see, Jamie wouldn't. Can I put it? Say, for instance, me and Jamie raced against each other. I trained, he didn't. If I beat him, then for a few weeks, he won't see his arse about it. He expects that. The problem you've got in a lot of places is, a lot of people moan on about all the big trainers and the this, that, and the other. Well, everyone's got the option to do it.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a saying in there, if you can't beat them, join them. You know.
Yeah.
But Jamie sets his stall out and he expects that. He don't take offence by getting beat the first few races. He knows what he wants. And I think if everybody did that, it'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people, they want to try and compete in races where they haven't put the work in to do so, if that makes sense. You know, it causes a lot of animosity in clubs and that, doesn't it? Well, I've noticed it as anyway.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, so that if you we don't send pigeons to lose.
No. Well, I'll tell you what did it for me, Bobby, is not what, Rick, 2-3 years ago, Tom, I trained my hens, 4 years ago, I trained my hens 20 miles to Lim every night for 2 weeks. 20 odd chucks did. Well, probably a bit more than 2. They had 20 odd chucks.
Right.
My cocks, I didn't train them. I loft flew them twice a day.
Yeah.
First race come, they all come together. No
And
difference.
did you win that race, Jamie?
I can't remember.
Right.
Year after, I swapped sexes. I trained the cocks for 2 weeks, and I didn't train the ends. First race, I got a mixed bag.
Right.
And that it. I'll never train ever again.
Right.
No, maybe if I had gone what you lads are doing, 37, 40 mile every day, when the weather's good, they might come and beat them. But I just thought, no, I'm not doing it.
But that's your prerogative. That's what you want.
Yeah.
So Ian Platt's put, Bobby, these people are big fishes in small ponds, and then they post it. Have won so many first, but no birdage or members sent. Do your homework before buying. Yes, it's too late in the season, but this winter, the feds need to get together. In it mad, lads, how everybody's got the same opinion.
Yeah. But this is what I can't understand. Most people you speak to, Bob, they've got the same opinion. So why doesn't it happen?
We're also, Darren Lynch has put, who does Jamie's makeup for the programme?
No,
Who does your makeup, Jamie?
Nice steamy bath.
Right. But that's what we're saying. I mean, we're all talking here. We're all talking, and we're all under the same opinion that we should all be racing together, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think most people are.
It'll just happen. It'll have to happen because
the
birds will get that low that it's either fold and finish or join forces. It will happen, but it'll be forced happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think the days will come that happens? Okay, so if that happens, if all these small-minded people go, right, we're not joining these other feds and this, that, and the other, and it goes.
That's them. They're packed up, finished with.
So what we'll be doing then is all be racing in nationals, won't we?
Yeah.
Well, take for instance, round where we are. Let's just say our area. I know of two. What do you call them? Transport companies that take pigeons, and both of their wagons. I'm guessing here will all between 3,000 and 4,000 pigeons. And there's two wagons round here, and they're both going down to the same race points most weeks with 1,500 of them.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mental. It's mental.
I'm not saying they could go together or go up together, like I said before, but surely you've got to start sharing transport costs.
Yeah.
I must admit, our fed, I think it holds 1,500 birds. I think ours is near enough full for the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Our wagon.
Yeah.
And I don't
It's not
know.
a wagon, it's a little 3.5 tonner, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know many big wagons in our area. I don't know how big your wagons are.
Well, just the two wagons I know in this area, the biggest wagons in this area are Armstrongs and Teesdales. They're about the same size.
Yeah.
And they're about 3,000 plus.
Armstrong's fed is basically in front of me. Now, if it did come to that, it'd be a cracking wagon to get on. We could have our own fed results, our own club results, and we could have an overall 2 fed result who were the best of the 2 feds every week.
But what me and Bobby racing is there's 4 feds in that. That's what they do. They have their own fed results, and they have like what's it called, Bob?
In the amount
it's not an amount. Affiliation.
The affiliation,
yeah, which is basically an Amala combine. It's a mixture of 4 feds, and you've got your club results, your fed results, and then you've got your, let's call it the Amal result every week.
And that's decent, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah.
And we're racing against the lads in Liverpool and that, aren't we?
You know, Southport, Birkdale, Leyland, that sort of area. You know, Blackpool.
So, lads, Sue Pete's put good luck, lads, for the season. Same to you, Sue. Hope you have a good season. Thanks for joining us. And Lee Davis is kind of looked into the future days, but I love it. That's it, Bobby. Come out swinging. So he knows. He said he's reading between the lines. Andy Photo is late to the party tonight. Evening, lads.
Evening, mate.
Rhino, bang on, Jamie. Random track days. Where's your first race from? So I think we're from Penkridge, aren't we, lads?
I think all our races are about 80 mile, aren't they? First race. I think it goes like an 85 miler. Jamie will fly 65, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm not.
And then
no idea.
And then with Old Birds, they seem to get gone then. I think we're off the top of my head, I'm going to say 85, 105, 140, 160, 200. That's roughly it goes down in them sort of things.
So Tony Peters has asked a question here, boys, and he said, what would you say the average cost to pay for pigeons to get a setup for a new starter to get half-decent birds? Well, to be fair, Tony, I think if you're a new starter and you go to a club, I mean, I think some people gift you pigeons. I mean, if you're
your best pigeons are gifted.
Yeah, if you're a new starter and you don't really know what you're doing and you've not got no one to help you, then you're totally on your own. My advice, I wouldn't go out buying expensive pigeons.
No, I wouldn't either.
No.
You know, because you're gonna lose them. You can't help it. That's that.
I can hand heart and say we've spent a lot of money, and Jamie has, and you have, Bobby. I don't know about you two, but without a shadow of doubt, the odd exception, but the best pigeons we have mostly been gifted, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's stock pigeons and racing pigeons. Yeah.
And there's a lad here, Ian McGrath, he's put, the best thing I done was getting in touch with Robert Langrish for pigeons. It's changed my loft. He's a top man.
There you go.
Yeah, Ian got a cock off that lady pit bull, and he's never looked back. It's just spitting winners out for him.
Yeah. There you go.
So, it's a funny one, that. Hamad Raja. Hello, guys. First year in the hobby. one loft and 3 sections of young birds, cocks and hens. Young birds, cocks and hens. I'm just going to fly. I'm not going to worry about stock birds. I'm just going to enjoy the sport for now.
Absolutely.
Hammer, that's the way forward, mate.
Yep.
What he's saying there is perfect, because you're in it to enjoy it, aren't you?
Yeah. That's the main thing. That's what
people forget about that, don't they? That we're in it to enjoy it. And I'm dead right what he said. I mean, enjoy yourself first, and like if you didn't enjoy it, you wouldn't do it, would you?
No.
Well, that's how. Like, well, you know, with myself, Bobby, I packed in all the jobs this year. I've got no jobs in the pigeon fraternity. You know, no race controlling jobs, nothing. And it's just a year of me and my dad just getting back to enjoying pigeons, because, like you say, all the stress with the race control and the meetings and all the jobs. But I've done enough. You know what I mean? And I thought this year, just going to race the pigeons, enjoy the Fridays and Saturdays. You know, and hopefully, because I was getting to the point where it weren't enjoyable. You know, I wasn't enjoying it. So I thought, I'm going to have to do something here, otherwise I'm going to jack it. So
Mike's just said here, he said he's done many jobs and it's a thankless task.
Yeah.
You get no better thought of, no matter how much work you put in, you get no better thought of, you know.
No.
A lot of people just take it for granted that somebody else is going to do the jobs.
I think they should. I mean, I've always said, I think in most jobs, every year or 2 years, it should rotate around the club.
Yeah.
Because it just seems to be the same people doing it. And the people that moan, they don't do anything. You know, maybe they wouldn't moan and wouldn't try and get at you if they actually had the job themselves and thought, well, you know, I know what it's like this, you know.
Yeah, I don't give any of them grief because I know what they do in background.
Yeah.
If they ask your opinion, I'll answer it, and that's about it.
And user Mikey P said, lots of feds have you planning to downsize their wagons as numbers being sent have been poor. The days have gone with big feds and big birdage. Only National Flying Club, Midlands National Flying Club, and the BICC is the best way forward.
But like you say, no downsizing. There's 2 ways. You either downsize and you're taking care of all the costs yourself, or you go on, like we've discussed, with somebody else to bring the cost down, innit? You know, and you don't have to worry about running a rig, as you call it, because it's hard work. It is hard work. People have them feds and combines that run their own. We've done it. Run your own rig. It's a lot of work, Bob. It's a lot of work. You know, insurances and diesel and MOTs. It's a bloody lot of work.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you know this for going with the nationals and stuff like that. I mean, if you could get a transporter company who was willing to take all the pigeons, it'd be great, wouldn't it?
Well, I've said that. I mean, in this, look, let's go back. I can only speak for our area. With the 3 people around here is your Blackpool, which is obviously your affiliations.
Yeah.
Your affiliation. You've
West
got
Coast
Jamie's
Fed
Fed with West Coast Fed and the affiliation therein. You've got Jamie's in the middle with, let's say, you know, 1,500, and then you've got your Armstrongs with 1,000, and it's only a small area that. You know, that would be a wagon full, that.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the way it'll have to go eventually, like Jamie said. I think it'll get forced on them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there'd be no pull because it'd be a massive area. So it'd still be like flying into your club.
Well, what I'm saying is, James,
the birds would be going everywhere.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have that to start with, because you'd upset that many people. I would have 3 libs. And then once you get to 200 miles, Jamie, say, right, we'll have a bit of a combine race, because people won't have that, because you know what they're like. They don't want to change. But if you're sharing costs, it's got to be better, hasn't it? It's one lot of MOT. It's one lot of insurance, you know. And obviously the haulier then, hopefully, could do you a good sort of birdies. If you put in 3,000 or 4,000 on the wagon, he's got to do it the right money, hasn't he?
Yeah, the only problem is with it is that everyone's wagons and baskets would have to match, because someone
Well,
would
you'd have one set.
On the net.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's nothing, is it?
You know what I think? I think the way we're all talking, us 3 here, and everybody that's been good enough to join us, and they're all talking. I think we're all like-minded people. I think we at the heart of it, we've got pigeon racing, you know, That's the main objective. And I think this is it's gonna change. And I think there's going to be more people like us who are going to realise that, listen, this sport that we love, if we don't change it, it ain't going to last long.
No.
Well, we were discussing the other week, Bob, weren't we, about when ETS first come in? You were saying how some people were absolutely against it, weren't they?
Listen,
like, it was the devil.
When ETS came out in Manchester, right, there was a fellow going ballistic. And honestly, I won't mention any names. He was going ballistic about these ETSs, right? Yeah, going bananas, saying how it was the worst thing, you could ever. It's going to ruin pigeon racing, this, that, and the other. And you know what his sideline was?
What, his job?
Yeah, his sideline was making traps for the ETS pads. That's what he did. That's what he did in his spare time. He made traps what fit the ETS padding, and he was the worst for saying it was going to ruin the sport. So it just shows you what how hypocritical people are, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sue Pete's put, the sooner we all go up together in Manchester, the better. All on the same wagon. And then Darren Lynch has said some people would jack in or jump club rather than take jobs on, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you're right. That's the problem. A lot of the time is all these people that have been doing these secretaries' jobs and all the other jobs, nobody ever says thank you. No one says thank. That's the biggest thing is getting took for granted. Nobody in the world likes being took for granted. I don't care who you are.
No.
It's just that like taking the piss, in it. You know what I mean?
Unless they're well paid to do it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean that's
there's not much of that in this game, is there?
Who gets well paid in pigeon racing?
Yeah.
No.
It's honestly, it's a thankless job, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Neil Kershaw, in the delegates meeting, 2 delegates jumped up and down and said racing with 2 feds would never happen. So that's from Neil Kershaw. So, and he can also name him. Well, hang on, Neil. Don't name him yet, mate. Just for in case we get sued or something. Do you know what I mean? But it's right, isn't it? That this is the problem. So I think that there's got to be. I really believe there's got to be a shift in pigeon racing.
I think the first step, Bobby, is the first thing just for everyone to do is not race together and go up together and all that. First thing that they should be looking at is sharing the haulage.
Get on the
do that first. Yeah, do that first, and then we'll worry about libs and.
Yeah, you're right, Tom.
You're suiting everybody then, Bob. Everyone's still got their own little feds. They've still got their own combines. They're still going up with people around them and not moaning about people in the east.
Yeah,
get them on the wagon. Let's have 12 months of that, and maybe right at the end when we're at 200 mile or something like that, let's have a trail race together. Yeah. And I agree. I agree. I would not want to race 80 miles with someone who was miles away from me, because that's not sprinting, is it? Sprinting is not about that.
No.
But I do agree, once you get to a certain distance, I think it's am I right in thinking the Up North Combine, Jamie, don't they do that? When they start short, they have libs every quarter of an hour. For like the west side, the north.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they have
everybody knows about the Up North Combine, how it works.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they start early on in the season. They start living like, every quarter of an hour, Bob. And it's like the west side of it, the north, the east. And then once they get to a certain race, they have what they call national races, and they let them all go together. And I think we all should do something on them lines.
You get
I think that's the way forward.
Get Richard Sayers on one week to have a chat about it.
Yeah. So we could do with someone actually through the Up North Combine, because it's a big organisation up there. If we get someone from up that way.
Yeah, Tom Byron Morris said the UNC have one every 15 minutes.
There you go. And then I believe once they get to a certain mile,
he put you right, Tom. So
yeah. I think that's a good base to look at for a lot of people. What they do, I like the sound of that, where you're sharing the haulage.
Yeah.
The shorter races, you're going up every quarter of an hour in your own areas. So obviously you're sharing the diesel, you're paying the driver the
And
same.
the haulage company would like it more because you've got a full
Yeah,
wagon.
yeah. Don't get me wrong, he's going to have to sit there for an hour and a half, but end of the day, even if you've got to pay him a bit more, it's still got to be cheaper than 3 wagons going from the same area to the same bloody place.
Yeah. And
I think
there'd be less wagons on the site.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I remember once when I was race controlling at Worcester and it was a rough day or something, they'd all come back. It was absolutely rammed.
Yeah.
We got there because we had to move from somewhere else because the weather was so bad. We got there and there were 10 libs before us.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I bet most of them were going the same way.
There'd be less transporters. So lads, use a Mike PW. He said it's the old timers that have held the sport back, and it's all very political and wanting to do things the same way as they've done for many years. That's what I was saying, Mike. I think there's got to be a shift.
But there's not a shift, Bob. If you were just like I said, let's share the haulage. There is no shift for them. For them, people are against it. They're still going to go up with their own area and doing their own thing. So there's nothing for them to complain about. That's the first step.
That comes back to what we spoke about last week about the RPRA, how things take too long.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to implement this and get this going, you'd have to go to your club, go to your fed, get your delegates, go to a meeting. It's too long. It comes back to that where we could have a big Zoom meeting and all vote on the Zoom meeting, innit?
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the age. Look, listen, people don't know yet, but we're in this age where of the internet and AI and all that. And listen, it's going to be the greatest time ever because of the way that the world's changing, and we have to change. We have to go forward. If we want to keep this sport going, we've got to go forward.
Otherwise, you get left behind.
Exactly. Rhino's put, why do you think the RPRA don't push to get feds together? Because they would lose money in liberations.
Well, there's the money side of things. Yeah, but we said it again last week, Bob. If the fanciers really want something and they put the nose out, they can have it. They explained that to us last week. If we all decided, if the 3 feds we've discussed, I can only discuss the feds around here because I don't know anymore. If the 3 big organisations around here, if the vast majority of their organisation wanted it, it would happen.
Yeah.
But
like you're saying, that's what, when I say we need a big shift, that's what we need. We need people like us and everybody who's joining us tonight. We need them people to push this forward now.
Yeah.
Because you can't look what's going to happen with this petrol thing. Like the lad said before, what's going to happen when this diesel and petrol goes through the roof? Things are going to have to change, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
What's going to happen is, Bob, there'll be certain organisations who are on the ragged edge, you know what I mean, who are, living at hand to mouth.
Yeah.
They're going to have to miss races out. If that field stays as it is, there will be organisations that won't finish the programmes. You know what I mean? Takes, with them organisations like that, it only takes one really bad case of local youngbird sickness or a really crap race when people lose a lot. And that's the federation losing money for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I mean, federations now can't be as well off as they used to be.
Some are. Some are. You'll find the ones that are forward thinking and do it and make it and got the right people and the right jobs, making the right decisions. Some of them are all right. There'll be people watching this. So, their feds. Well, let's put it for instance. Let's take our fed into consideration, Bob. I'm going to say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They had £30,000 in the bank and they owned a wagon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now the wagon needed a new diff, Bob, a couple of grand.
Yeah.
And they said, no, that's it, we're done. So what they did is they sold the wagon and they divided all the money out, between the members.
Yeah.
And we all got, I think it was £250 per member back. And at the time we were saying, we don't want this money. You know, you don't understand what's going to happen. We need to invest this money, that 30,000 quid or the wagon sold or whatever. We need to invest it in a smaller rig and, you know, to move forward.
Yeah.
And I said to one fella, I can't understand it. I'll never forget one man's word, bless him. He's not here now with us, rest his soul. But I said to him, Jimmy, I said, I didn't want my money. He said, well, I wanted my money. He said, I had my front room decorated with that. And I thought, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And now that same organisation, it's a great, obviously the Fed's a decent thing and it's with an Amal, but without that Amal, it's nothing. And it would have been, it still, with the right people pushing it, it would have still been strong, you know, with the bought a lot of people wanted to downsize, you know, from a 10-tonner to like a 7-tonner, you know, because the money was there and the funds was there, but they all dished it all out and had the front rooms done. So.
Right. So Mikey P said the RPRA is a dinosaur organisation controlled by a few committee members. Take voting, no proxy votes allowed, but wanting individuals to attend in person. You can do a proxy vote when voting in elections. So he's right.
We were discussing this the other week about how more computers and stuff needs to come into the sport, didn't we, Bob?
Yeah.
We was discussing the new clocks that are coming in where you it's all obviously high tech, it's uncheatable, let's call it, you know what I mean, or it's all fully checked. And them newer clocks now, you can send your sheets to the clubs. And the first thing you get is, well, no, because that'll lose camaraderie at the club, you know, people, you know, that's gone, Bob.
There's no camaraderie at the club.
No.
Listen, everybody's talking behind each other's backs and all that.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to say is also, I'll touch on that with that side of things. They see the bad in it straight away, the camaraderie. What about the new starters that are starting up, that have got wives nagging them, that you're going to the Pigeon Club on a Friday night, you're clocking your pigeons all day Saturday, and you're going to the Pigeon Club on a Saturday night? It's a lot of work, Bob, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and that's taking the elderly, you know, the disabled or whatever, that don't want to get dragged to the clubs and that. But people see the bad in it, in technology, see the bad in it, you know.
Well, listen, let me tell you, these benzene clocks are here to stay.
Yeah.
Listen, and this is the way forward. I've got one, you've got one. This is the way forward. And you know, people say, oh, you're not doing this and you're not doing that. Soon, it'll all be allowed.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, isn't it?
You remember the ETSs? You remember all the people when ETSs first come out? No, we're not having them. You're not getting. And it happens. Listen, you don't think Benzene, a company like Benzene, a multi-billion company, I've got putting that much money into these clocks for it not to all get passed?
I think it's only. I think like we talk about the Benzene. Most of the other countries all over the world, it's all passed and done. It's only. Then again, it's back to the RPRA. You know, I was speaking to a representative for Benz, and he was saying we've tried 4 years to push some of this technology into the RPRA, but they won't have it. It's only the RPRA. It's not Belgium and France and Holland and all that.
So, Paul Twig, thanks for joining us, Paul. If you had multiple Feds going on the same wagon, each Fed would need to have a centralised marking point for Fed members to make it work.
Yeah, dead in the centre. I mean, we've always said in our Fed, haven't we, Bob? The centre's Queens, isn't it? Right into the dead centre, and it's as far for anyone as it is anyone. And I think that's you can only be fair.
That's an easy fix. I mean, we all mark at the transporter yard, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, the vast majority of our Fed marks in the transporter's yard, don't we?
We mark where the transporter is, the vast majority. So,
yeah.
So, Byron Morris, lads, what do you think of our first Youngbird race? It's 83 miles. Used to be 65. Now they have changed it. Also, Grandad has just said maybe the RPRA should do a lottery once a week to raise some money.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, but will they?
It's what they do with the money, like the Hawk thing, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
People just argue on what to spend their money on.
And Sue Pete said Brown's Transport take 3 Freds from Manchester area. They live every 15 minutes each Fred.
That's the way. Yep.
And Rhino, benzene clocks are awesome. You don't have to tell us, Rhino, we've got them. And then user Mikey P, we are miles behind the Dutch and Belgians flyers on technology and systems. Yeah, we are.
We've got it. We have got the technology, but we're just not allowed to use it.
Yeah. We're not allowed to use it, are we? You know.
No.
I mean, look at it this way, right? So say you race pigeons, but on Saturday you've got to go to work.
Yeah.
You have to go to work. That's it. So nowadays,
yeah,
your pigeons can come home, clock themselves in, and then you can send your sheet in to the secretary yourself.
Yeah.
Without coming out of work.
Also, families, Bob. Families, you know, when you've got young kids, and when you've clocked in generally early on in the year, and you're clocking in around dinner time or before, it frees up all day Sunday.
Yeah.
The rest of Saturday and Saturday night. You got to look at it that sort of way as well.
Yeah. I mean that's what we're saying, aren't we? Listen, I think for pigeon racing to keep going and going forward, we have to get with the times.
Absolutely.
We have to use social media in a positive way. We have to use these new clocks in a positive way. We have to really, really all get together and get these changes that we all know needs doing. We need to get them made. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everybody who's listening, when I very first started this podcast, one of the main things that I wanted to do was I want everybody to send the results in to me on Sunday or whenever you do them, Saturday night, Sunday. Get your results into me, because we want to do segments where we're reading the results out, who's won, how they've done it and what they've done. Because what we want to do eventually, people that are doing well with the racing, we want to bring them onto the podcast.
Yeah.
And get more guests on that way. You know what I mean? So
we want pigeon people, don't we? We want people in the game, all different aspects, back garden lofts, big setups, you know what I mean? All different setups. It's good to hear about all different aspects of it.
We really want everybody to get involved. And if you send us the results in, I'm going to read them out. I'm going to do segments where I'm going to be reading the results out. Because look at me tonight, lads. Look at me. Look at me reading. I'm reading all of them out tonight. It's simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm not a technophobe anymore. I'm getting it right. But
you got it all sorted. And has our mate not come on tonight?
No. So Ian Platt, Nigel Laycock would be would be an awesome guest. Well, if someone can put me in touch with Nigel Laycock, please, and we'll see if he wants to come on as a guest. And Tony Peters, it's been good to see people's results each week. And listen, when you do win, lads, we like to win, so we like to be we like people to notice that we win, don't we? Yeah. Neil Kershaw, that hot bath has knackered you, Jamie. He'll had his foot. And John Sheehan, the creation for an app for phones where people log on with their loft numbers as IDs for every fancier should be achievable. A way for everyone to get a vote in. That's what Tom was saying last week.
Well, John, it's only the same. The Midlands National, when you get your book or your whatever, Bob, you get a sheet, don't you? And it tells you your login details. So you can log into your Midlands National to verify and do all that. It's exactly the same as that.
Yeah,
it's easy doable.
Yeah, if lads out there, while you're involved, if you think anybody would be a good guest on here, let us know. We'll get them on.
Yeah,
that's the old part of it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. So, Lee Davis, if all feds went together on the same wagon and liberated at horse race courses in between horse racing, they would be televised on ITV Racing, and it'd be good publicity for the sport. Listen, lads, every option, every idea is an idea, and they're all worth looking at, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All these ideas are all worth looking at. So Byron Morris, me and Albie will come on for an hour. My lad will have you talking for a good hour. Yeah, that'll do. Byron, we'll get Albie on one day, don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, lads, Rhino, the dream is an app that people can log on and put their results on, and everyone could log in and see them. No, Rhino, I like to read them out, mate. Get lost.
He's a technophobe, Bob. He don't like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just starting to learn the computer now. Les Green would be a fantastic guest. Yeah, you're right, mate. And Greeny's a pal of mine, so we could get him on, no problem. The only problem with getting your mates on is that they know secrets about you.
Yeah.
That's the only problem, innit, lads? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But right, lads, thanks. We appreciate everybody that's been involved tonight, and I hope I've done the comment sections justice. And what a show we've had, because lads, it's just gone 10:05, 9:05, and we've had a great show, haven't we? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So we really, really do appreciate everybody that's joined in and everybody that's commented, and keep hitting that like button and that subscribe button, and we shall see you all next week. So from me and the lads at the Loft Line podcast, keep going. We're nearly there. 2 weeks to the first race.
Yeah.